Anyway, I introduced Jodie Redcliffe, Matt Epson, Guy Hepplewhite, Cara Knudsen and Sophie Stanley to give a spiel on the Indian GFP.
We've already had our introduction, so let me firstly say my husband Wayne, who a lot of you have met, the 2015 scholars met him yesterday, he always says the best presentation for a mob of farmers is one with lots of photos. So we've tried to do that to paint a picture of our experience. It's an experience that's like no other. 6 weeks across 6 countries, 3 continents: India, Qatar, France, Ukraine, Turkey, and both sides of the United States. 22 flights, 45,000 kilometres by air, 6.5 by road, and most astoundingly, 35 different hotel rooms in just 43 days. So what did we get out of the GFP? What makes it so fundamentally important to the Nuffield program? Our first stop was India. Our cool cat host in Tamil Nadu was Ramesh, and he said to us, a GFP is like farming in general. You plough, you plant, your harvest is a gamble, and sometimes what you reap is not what you sowed in the first place, it's something more, but you do it because you enjoy it. We've tried to sum it up in 5 words. To witness, to go and see firsthand, not just read about farming practices in a book or a research paper. To walk in another one's shoes, to explore how it's done, to explore how it feels. To transform ourselves and others. To triumph over our personal inhibitions and shortcomings, over very difficult and very tiring circumstances at times. To grow and to learn what we're capable of. And probably most importantly, to connect. To look into the eyes of others and see who they really are. To ask them the questions that are universal and the questions that are unique to a farming practice, a culture, a time or a place. That's the power of the GFP, and that's why it's fundamentally important to Nuffield.
So what did we see? The better question might be, what didn't we see? So I've got the job of this bit, so I'm going to have to read some of it because there's quite a bit. So hang on to your hats while I catalogue it for you. We saw chicken manure and a flax factory in France, a piggery in Ukraine, oysters in Massachusetts, a sawmill in Idaho, cherries in Washington State. We saw tea plantations, cranberry bogs, wineries, a cidery, grain ports, bean, dairy, potato and apple cooperatives, turf farms, cow and buffalo dairies, a fish farm, bean packing, baby corn packing, flour milling, chicken abattoirs, sheep abattoirs, a tomato sauce factory, dam projects and biodigesters. We saw hothouses, greenhouses and many, many fields of camelina, coriander, carrots, corn, onions, tomatoes, potatoes, apricots, apples, wheat, triticale, barley, hops and ryegrass. And considering I'm a beef producer that started on the trip and didn't know the difference between wheat and barley, girls, we know our crops. We saw elephants and layers in India, camels in Qatar, Holsteins in the USA, Charolais, Percherons, broilers and ewes in France, pigs and goats in the Ukraine. We saw the best black soil in the world in the Ukraine and beautiful fields as far as the eye could see in Washington State. We went through lakes, mountains, plains, sheds, factories, houses, mills, ports, trains, planes, cars and buses, tuk-tuks, scooters and very fast cars at Le Mans. We saw the Eiffel Tower and went to Chernobyl. We visited Indian temples, supermarkets, farmers markets, camel markets, fish markets and farms open to the public. We toured Costco, saw an urban rooftop farm, the Grand Bazaar and Gallipoli in Turkey, and the fantastical Doha skyline. And did I mention we saw Le Mans? One member of our team rated our best day on GFP, and can you guess which one? We met representatives and we talked with them from the USDA, OECD, parliamentarians, state and federal senators, university lecturers, researchers, lobbyists, company directors and slum workers. Those in charge of billions of dollars and some with nothing at all. We had wonderful hosts in every country who were all passionate about agriculture and also very passionate about Nuffield. They were genuinely interested in us too, including the fabulous Mr. Pangali in the Punjab. He was a terrific, he had very philosophical thoughts. But most importantly, we met farmers. That's all right. Most importantly, we met farmers. Suave French turf farmers, enthusiastic American wheat farmers, very humble Indian corn farmers, very dynamic Dutch farmers in the Ukraine, and for a brief moment in time, we were a moment in their life. Mere extras passing in through their thoughts in days, but part of their story nonetheless, just as they had become part of ours.
Right, so I think the word that summed up our GFP was cohesion. We were like one big happy family. There was the dad, Guy, the mum, Jodes, the older sister, Tasha, and the troublesome middle sister, Cara, who was the overachiever, like a la Jan of the Brady Bunch, and was often annoyed with our Tasha. And the little baby of the family, young Soph. Then there were the other boys. Oh yeah, that's right. There was just one of them. Wise me. So Guy and I were travelling with 4 girls. We were relieved when our numbers were bolstered with Jim in the Ukraine and Turkey and Lockie Sears in Turkey.
To illustrate our cohesion, we of course had things to sort out at the beginning. The very first day we assigned tasks. But instead of rotating, we all just found our niche. Jodie volunteered to take notes. When someone else volunteered to do it the next day, she said, look, I'm going to take the notes. I just don't trust anyone else. As well as me, so don't bother. We needed photos snapped. Thanks, Mike. Cara got that job. She takes fantastic photos, there's no doubt about that. I was in charge of logistics, finance, as you can see, and I did the chairs function, as in, and this is a bit long-winded, but apparently I double-checked, triple-checked what time we needed to leave, how long we were leaving, how long we had to be there, who were we going to be with, where we were going to be the next day, and how long we could stay at this visit before jumping back on the bus. So, Matt was our safety officer, the voice of calm and reason. Certainly not the face of calm and reason. He would check that we had some bottled water and that everybody was hydrated and that we were all where we were supposed to be in appropriate footwear. He saved Sophie and guitar from the aforementioned water issues and was very happy that high vis was Jodie's choice of footwear in nightclubs. Now that brings me to the two keywords. Two girls. We had a group of 4 girls and 2 guys. Now that can't happen. And probably it won't happen ever again, will it? Travelling with 4 girls presents some issues. Finding toilets in India. Because there is no field to pee in that is not overlooked by 37 workers in the next door paddock. But it meant quite a lot of singing in the bus and a fair bit of dancing in the Ukraine. Sophie was our co-treasurer with me, and she was also in charge of technology. Sophie would find the Wi-Fi hotspot within seconds whenever we were there, and we relied on her to remember the latest Wi-Fi password and to take a photo of those pesky little pieces of paper that everybody was given as you walk into those hotel rooms with a Wi-Fi password on. The final member of our GP group, who's obviously not here, Tash, from New Zealand, was obviously Tash, yes. Tash was absolutely unique. Her task was to keep us up to date with the international rugby scores. Tash had roaming on her phone, courtesy of her employer, and she had a huge bill at the end of the GFP to show for it. So I'm sure they weren't terribly impressed about it. Tash's other task was to entertain us with the latest drama. I'm of course referring to the Indian Sari saga, which involved everybody standing around for a couple of hours waiting for her to be fitted. As you can see in that lovely photo. And the Ukrainian visa incident that I'm sure could be a James Bond movie. She brought everything with her on tour, including a set of bathroom scales. That's Karen.
So we had cohesion, we definitely had organisation, we had safety, and our final strong point, the ability to learn. To illustrate this is our ability to learn how to take a good selfie. First one in India, not so good in the back of a tuk-tuk. By Turkey we were getting much better at dinner and we managed to get 8 in this shot. But we nailed it in the bus in Idaho. One member of our family maybe never did master the art of a selfie. We connected with each other and with the people over the world. There were only 6 of us. We got on at the beginning and we were still getting on at the end. A Nuffield family.
We would like to thank Nuffield, in particular Jim Gouch, for coming along this journey with us and helping us organise the GFP. It was Jim's first visit to the Ukraine and to Turkey, and he showed his practicality and value to the group when following a Ukrainian ambulance hurtling through the back streets of Kahovka. He didn't let anything in his way, not even a pack of stray dogs. Who came off worse? You guess. The Ukraine was also a little expensive for Jim, as the only driver on our tour to jag a speeding fine and losing us by following the wrong black car around a roundabout. I would like to acknowledge the very generous support of all of our sponsors, the Sylvia and Charles Vitale Charitable Foundation, MLA, Riddick, AWI and the Nuffield New Zealand group of sponsors. In summary, we were welcomed with open arms wherever we went because we were Nuffield scholars. Once you're a Nuffield scholar, you have a whole worldwide web of people you know and who understand you and who will call you anytime and ask you anything. And that reminds me, cake. What did we eat? Well, enough for us to all put on the obligatory 1 kg per week on tour. Well, no, we weren't quite that bad. Natasha brought the bathroom scales with us, so we kept that under control. It was absolutely exhausting, absolutely exhilarating, and now we have to finish presenting our reports this afternoon, and now we're done. So Nuffield's not going to be over. It's a lifelong journey of learning, being a leader in whatever we do, moving onwards and upwards to greater challenges, and the fun is just beginning. Thank you.